Welcome everyone. We're going to talk about how to cut trees down with the tree harvesters like a pro. How is the best way to lay them down to make it easier for you without making a mess everywhere? I'm sure everybody does it different, but I'll show you how I do it. And I try to do and stack as many as I can. That way it's just easier for you if you use the forwarders and all that other stuff. But anyway, I will show you how I try to make the best stacks that I can. And I'll show you how I do it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to cut these at 6 meters. I believe that's right. Maybe I got them at 8. I don't even remember now. We're at 8. There. This is a modded machine. It's not out yet. I haven't released it yet, but it's actually got, you can roll the head too. So if you accidentally draw, you can use this as a processor if you want. It'll cut up to 18 meters, but I haven't released this yet. This will be available at American Eagles Modding when it is done. Like I said, everybody's got their preference of how you do this. And maybe you're new, you know, I mean, these machines kind of operate the same as they always have, but maybe you're new to the game and you're not really for sure. But this is the way I try to do it. Try to drag them back. And then just try to make yourself a pile as best you can. Try to keep it as square as you can, because it's going to make it a lot easier for you when it comes time to load them up. Especially if you use a forwarder. If it's a little bit messy, it's not too big a deal. That one right there, it's hit or miss. It depends on what you want to do. Now this little junk right here, don't put that in your wood pile. Don't do that to yourself. Just throw that thing over there, and then you can throw it away like you seen I did over there. Really, that last cut that I made, I probably should have threw it away, but a lot of times I don't. I'll keep it. That's just your preference, whatever. But yeah, don't throw that little junk in your pile. It just makes for a mess, and it's easier if you just do what you seen me do. Just throw it aside. Now you just bring this over here and try to line up with your pile like you've seen I just did right here. Now I know it's not always going to be perfectly flat. It's not always going to be perfect, and that's fine. But this'll help you out greatly. And you know, after a little bit you'll have to move over because your pile's going to get too high, but when it comes time to run on your forwarder, this will be just so much easier for you. You just try to keep doing this, and you know, you may not have all the room in the world to do exactly what I'm doing, but for the most part, this is the way you can do it. It just doesn't really matter where you're at. But you just keep stacking these up like this, and it's just going to make it so much easier for you. And then that way, when it comes time, you just come on over. You've got a nice stack right here. You'll be able to load your forwarders up really easy. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you do auto load or whatever. But if you're an auto load person, well, this still applies to you, because if you've made a mess out of your trees, it's harder to get it to load. And especially if you're using loaders or whatever, you definitely want this as clean as you can. Because if it's a mess over there, then it's just that much harder for you to get them picked up. So the better, the cleaner, I guess, you can be, and the more accurate you can be with it, the better. and just kind of give them a little flip like that. I mean, with the base game machines, you got to kind of be careful because they'll just flip over, but this one here is quite a bit heavier. And if you did, like you seen what I did, I got the tree kind of messed up right now. If you can't get it straightened back up to where it runs into your pile, then you just drive around. You can just move it around back like this, kind of steer it around where you need it to be or where you want it to be. You can kind of handle it around, and you can do this with the base game stuff for the most part. So you can move that stuff around, get it handled up. Sometimes you got to kind of fiddle with it a little bit, but it's worth it trying to keep it as clean as you can, keep your logs good and together like this. And that way right here, like I said, this is going to be off just a little bit. Not too bad. That won't be too bad. But that right there would be just about a forwarder load. And then if it starts getting messed up, like you seen I did right there, they're starting to not get straight. You can bring it in and try to straighten it up a little bit if you want. Getting a little messy right there. There we go. And then, like I said, that last cut right there, that size of tree, yeah, it's kind of up to you. I mean, I cut it. Those I never do. And you just don't want that junk in your pile. That's the way I do it. I flip them right over there like that, or flip them to the side. And then you can simply just pick them up. You can take them over here to your pile or whatever and chip them or whatever you're going to do with them. Other than this one right here, that is how you do it. Try to keep them and bring them back like you seen me do. Try to keep your pile as straight as you can. Sometimes it gets too tall, like this one here. I'd probably move over and I'd probably make a new pile over here. Or I would switch. I'd generally swing to the right when I cut it. I don't know why. That's just the way I've always done it. I probably should actually swing to the left because you got better visibility because you don't have a boom in the way. But that's just what I've always done. So if you was to do that, which you could, I'd swing to the left and I could bring them in here and I can dump on this side. I guess we can just demonstrate that. But then that way you can kind of keep your pile central, especially if you're playing multiplayer. Your forwarder man will really appreciate it. If the better that you can do with this, the cleaner you can be, your forwarder man will thank you. If you make a big mess and you just got junk all over the place, it makes it really hard on him. But yeah, the better, like I said, the cleaner you can be, the better. If they're off a little bit, that's okay, because your forwarder, a good forwarder man can deal with it. But for the most part, this is kind of what you want to try to do. You want to put as much of it together as you can. And I know in certain places, certain maps, it just kind of depends on how it all plays out. You can't always do this because you don't have enough room, or well, I'm not really sure why that did that. Okay. But you don't always have enough room, or you can't get into it, and that's okay. But it still applies. You want to try to keep your piles as clean as you can. It's no different than this right here, setting it down right here, and then I can just start a new one. And then that's fine, because you're still trying to keep a pretty clean pile, and you're still helping your forwarder man out. And then he's not gonna be mad at you because you strung them all over the place. But like I said, the more that you can keep together, the better. Like I said, not always, doesn't always allow you to do that. But as you can see, like I said, we've got two. So you've got another pile here for him, and then that way, you know, he doesn't have to try to keep going everywhere. If you just throw these logs all over top of it, and you do this kind of, you just kind of, I don't even know if I can simulate it, but I'll try. And then you go and you do this, you throw this little junk in there. Now see, he's got to deal with logs that are all messed up. Which is not that he can't do it, but if he's got you give him a mess like this, and he's got to sort this out. And he's got that little junk in there, and you just really don't want to do that. Sometimes you can't help it. And you know, depending on how good you are with the actual cutting machines too, if you kind of mess up or whatever, you can clean up some of this. You can push a lot of that stuff back for him like that, and you can correct a lot of your mistakes for him as well, or try to. And it all depends too on what, you know, like I said, this machine here, you can actually tilt the head so you can actually pick them back up. Well, if you can get on it, you can. Move this one right over here, and we'll just clean this up. Like I said, it all takes practice too, but the better, the cleaner that you can be, and the more precise that you can be with it, the better you can make your stacks like this. It's just in the long run, whether you play multiplayer or you just play by yourself, it doesn't even matter. It's just, you're just going to make it so much easier for you, everybody else. You can make those stacks like that. So much easier. I hope this helps somebody. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, you know, I know there's a lot of people that probably don't know or aren't. Maybe they're not good with the machine. They just get fed up and they use chainsaw, and that's fine. But maybe this will give you a little bit of insight on how all this works, and maybe help you to be a little bit better with it, or at least shows you how I do it, and maybe you can apply it to the way you log. But anyway, I hope it helps out somebody. Thanks for watching.